Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Together we will chant the first 5 verses of chapter 6, please.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Anashritah karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sasannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na chakriyah yam sanyasamiti prahuhu yogam tam vidhi pandava nahyasanyasta sankalpaha yogi bhavati kaschana arurukshor munir yogam karma karanamuchyate yogarudhasya tasyaiva shamah karanamuchyate yada hinendriyartheshu na karmasvanushajyate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yogarudhastadochyate uddharedatmanatmanam natmanamavasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanah.
We have 5 sessions in which time we will cover chapter 6 of the Bhagavad Gita entitled Dhyana Yoga, the yoga of meditation. As has been the tradition, I believe most of you would know, but for the benefit of those who have come here for the first time, this study that we make of the Bhagavad Gita, as Gopalji also mentioned in the introduction, is meant for one and all, particularly the youngsters. It serves as a manual for life and living. We are all born into this world. We grow and become adults. We find a thing to do in life and perhaps do it well and successfully. All that is going fine. We have families, we relate to our families, our friends. So much is happening in our lives. But there is a fundamental question we need to ask ourselves. And that is because we are humans. What is so special about being a human? What do we need to achieve in our life? We are not animals, we are not plants. Why we draw a difference between human species and the rest of creation is for one reason. If you observe the world, the rest of creation, apart from the human species, everything in nature is set. Every creature on this planet knows how to live life. And every creature does what it ought to do in life. But it's only in the case of a human alone, and I'm told there are about 1 trillion living beings, species on this planet. I don't know if you get that number in your head. 1 trillion. approximately. And of all these species on this planet, it is only one, the human species, that is given what is called a choice in life. Which means every human has the ability to do one of two. You can make something out of your life, or you could just lead an ordinary life, a regular, routine, mundane existence, intercepted here and there with an excitement and happiness, sometimes sorrow. Each one goes through that. If I were to ask each one, how is life with you? You would give a story. Yes, God's grace, everything is going fine. I have a good business, I have a good family, I have good friends, and my life is going on. Just a couple of things in my life, if I set it right, I should be all right. This is pretty much each human's life story. But that fundamental question we need to ask ourselves, is it this that we need to achieve? Just lead a life only to die one day? Or is there something more? So there are those who lead regular, routine, mundane lives, nothing much to talk about. And then there are others who seem to be losing it. The life is not good. There are so many problems and challenges they face. So there is a wide variety of lifestyles among human beings only. No other creature has this problem, because humans are given this choice. Now, since we have a choice, either we lead a life and find the purpose of human life, or lead a routine, mundane existence, or go down into misery and sorrow with challenges that we face, succumb to pressures that we are going through. There is such a wide variety of lifestyles. So, is there something that will help us understand what is life all about, human life? And that is where the Bhagavad Gita comes in. It serves as a manual for life and living. Now, every human, what it tells us is, since you're a human, you are born with this potential to not only live a perfect life, and each one ought to. So what do we call, what is a perfect life? Where you have both success, efficiency, dynamism in life. You're progressive, you're prosperous. Everybody wants to be so. And at the same time, perfectly at peace. You're happy, peaceful, content, cheerful, joyful, full of energy till the last day of your life. So you've got everything that you need. Why we say that is because, again, if you observe in the world, you will find people have one of two. You are either successful or peaceful. Seldom do they come together. Why is that so? A peaceful, happy-go-lucky person may not be an achiever. An achiever comes under pressures. There is stress, strain, worry, anxiety in life. It's a question of more or less. Everybody goes through that. And then that question must arise. Is there a way by which we can put the two together to find success and peace in one breath? This is a complete life, a full life. And that every human has a potential. But it is a technique. You've got to learn it, you've got to practice and make perfect. So that is something every human can do. And the more important call is the very purpose of human existence. Like we said, we are not animals, we are not plants, we are humans. So what is it that we need to achieve in this lifetime? What is the purpose? We've got to think. There is one guarantee we have in life. Since everyone is born into this world, there is one guarantee, and that is one day you go. I know you're looking at me. Look, we've come to listen to something Shubham, Bhagavad Gita. We're looking forward to that. First thing you're telling us, Ashubham. Why are you talking about death? Because it is a fact of life. Most of us are unable to accept that. No matter when a person passes, we say it was untimely. And if you don't believe me, look at the column. There is a column in the newspaper. The cruel hands of fate snatched this person away. People say that because you can't come to terms with anybody's passing. And yet it is inevitable. Now, since this is a surety, let's face facts. What does it mean? All of us have a brief sojourn here. This is the truth. Since we have a limited time available to us, whatever that is, what are we supposed to achieve? Now, what are we all engaged in? We are engaged in things that the world is offering us. Name, fame, money, position, status, recognition, family. This is all that we are engaged in. All our activities revolve around these few things that the world offers. Again, the truth remains that whatever you achieve in this lifetime, whatever name or fame or money or position, whatever you achieve, none of it goes with you. You take nothing. And yet you will stay engaged with all these aspects of life. We are not saying, Bhagavad Gita does not say that is incorrect. It only tells you, you have to think beyond this. Is there something that will stay with us? Is there something that will remain with us even as we leave? The only aspect of life that you will take with you is your knowledge or your ignorance, whatever you choose to quote this lifetime. Nothing else comes with you. So the appeal here is, while you are engaged doing whatever you are doing in this world, some part of you, one aspect of you, must be engaged in gaining the knowledge of the truth, the reality. Because that is the only thing that will stay with you. So, one is the Bhagavad Gita helps you to live your life where you can live a full life, a complete life, and at the same time, it gives you the knowledge of the highest truth, the reality, which is the knowledge of your original nature, your real personality. A little more about this. I know many of you know it. Again, it is for those who perhaps are not really familiar with this discussion. What is this truth? What is this reality? What is this knowledge that we need to gain? The word Vedanta, which is the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita, is taken from two words, Veda, Anta. Vedanta. Veda means knowledge, Anta means end. Together, Vedanta means the end of knowledge, which might seem paradoxical because we say, the more we learn, the more we need to learn, there is no end to knowledge. How then can we say there is this Vedanta, the end of knowledge? In the sense, it is the highest knowledge known to humanity beyond which there is nothing to be known. What is that highest knowledge? It's simply the knowledge of your real personality. How so? Don't we know ourselves? What do we know of ourselves? All our knowledge about ourselves is confined to this personality. See, what you see. What you see or what I see in you is just your outer personality, the physical body. So you see my outer personality, I see your outer personality sitting here. This is nothing but a vehicle that is taking you from place to place, your physical body or my physical body. This is not you, this is not me. There is something within each human being, within the outer personality, which you could call the inner personality. So the body is only carrying your inner personality everywhere. What is the inner personality? Inner personality is constituted of two faculties, manas or mind, buddhi or intellect. Manas is nothing but the sum total of all your feelings, your impulses, your likes, your dislikes, your wishes, your wants, your desires, your demands. All that put together is anybody's mind. Manas. Superior to the mind, subtler than the mind, is another equipment called the buddhi, the capacity to think, to reason, to judge, to understand, to know. So together, you know of your outer personality, the physical body, and a little bit about your inner personality. Meaning, you know what your feelings are, you understand what your thoughts and understanding is, you are able to identify these aspects in your personality, outer and inner. But the question here is, what is your real personality? Beyond the outer, beyond the inner personalities lies your true self, your real personality. That is permanent. The rest of your personalities could be changing. Take a look at your body. The body you have now is not the body you had 10 years ago, is not the body you will have 10 years hence. It's changing. The same happens with your feelings. The feelings you have now are not the feelings you had 15 years ago, are not the feelings you will have 15 years hence. Subject to change. Same applies to your thinking. The way you think now is not the way you thought in the past, is not the way you will think in the future. Every aspect of your personality is changing. The question is, what is that which never changes? What is that which is the real me? Nobody knows. The first word in the first verse, in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita starts with, anybody knows? Dharma. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. That's how the Bhagavad Gita starts. Dharma, the word dharma. And the last word in the last verse, in the last chapter, 18th chapter, ends with mama. Why am I talking? You seem to know it. Huh? All knowledgeable people. Now, let's go further than just these two words. So the entire philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita seems to be sandwiched between these two words, dharma, mama. What does that mean? Dharma, mama is my dharma. Mama, mine, dharma. What does that mean? Dharma is a simple Sanskrit word, but if you go into the translation, it runs into several pages. So many different ways you can translate that one word, dharma. But what we are concerned about is that aspect which is applicable to what we are discussing. Dharma is that which makes a thing what it is. Carefully, please listen. Dharma is that which makes a thing what it is, without which a thing is not what it is. Sounds confusing, right? But actually it's very simple. Very simple. Example. what is it that makes sugar what it is, without which sugar is not what it is? Huh? Sweetness. Only few people. Nobody's tasted sugar in Chennai. First thing in the coffee you put, right? See, sometimes in philosophical classes, when we ask a question, you're wondering, it can't be that simple. There must be something very serious to this. I don't want to make a fool of myself. A simple question. What is it that makes sugar what it is, without which it is not what it is? Still only few people. I think we should give coffee also before you come here. Sweetness. Sweetness makes sugar what it is. Take away sweetness, sugar is not what it is. Simple. What is that essential quality in fire that makes it what it is, without which fire is not what it is? Heat, not bad. Little bit has come. Heat has come now. So, heat makes fire what it is. Without heat, fire is not what it is. We are all understanding this. So you could say, sugar is that essential nature, sweetness is the essential nature of sugar. Heat is the essential nature of fire. In the same tone, we should ask ourselves, what is my essential nature? What is it that makes me what I am, without which I am not what I am? You can't say the physical body because it is changing. In other words, sugar cannot be sweet one day, bitter another day. It cannot change. It is a changeless aspect of sugar. It will never change. You can put it in many forms. It can be in the form of a sweet. It can be in the form of a drink. It can be in any form. Sugar will maintain its sweetness because that is its nature, permanent. All other aspects may change. The form, the name may change, but not its original nature. So what is it in us that makes us what we are, without which we are not what we are? We don't know. And that something is your essential nature. That is the truth. That is the reality. The whole world has given one word and swallowed it. G-O-D, God. So some of us believe, no, my God is in the temple. Another person will say, my God is in the church or in a mosque. So we believe God is there, nowhere else. If we say God is all pervading, that truth, that reality is everywhere. There is no place where the truth is not. Cannot be confined to a temple, church, or mosque. So where is this God principle? Where do you locate this God principle? Another word that is given for the same aspect in you is Atman in Sanskrit. Atman or Brahman. These are all synonyms. So whether you use the word God or God principle or Atman, Brahman, truth, reality, these are all synonyms. Meaning that essential nature in every human being. That is a common denominator in all of us. Whether you are an American or a Japanese or an African or an Indian, whether you're man or woman, young or old, it doesn't matter who you are, what your background is. We have one common denominator, the truth, the reality. But the problem with us is we are all living on the surface. We are living at the realm of the material world, the physical body, mind, or intellect. None of us, or very few of us, have x-rayed through all these differences and reached that unifying truth principle, which is your essential nature. Who are the people who have reached that truth, that reality? There was one Christ, one Krishna, one Muhammad, one Buddha, one Mahavira. For a generation, all the others were just followers. So it is not easy to get there, but it is not impossible. It depends on what each one does in his own life, in her own life. That's why we said, each one has the potential, but who wants to put in the effort? The world is full of attractions, full of distractions. We are doing anything and everything except finding that purpose of human existence. Like I said, no animal can achieve it, no plant can achieve it. It's only a human who has the choice. You can either spend your life forgetting there is a truth, there is a reality, and you're given this opportunity called life only to find the truth. Anything else you do is immaterial, is non-essential. And we are all engaged in non-essentials, not even suspecting that there is something as the reality, and our life will not be complete until we find it. So suppose you say, look, I'm quite happy. I'm happy with my family, my business, my money, my holidays, my whatever. I'm not really interested in this. Very well said. Adi Shankaracharya tells us, if this is the way we approach life, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. Again and again you will go through this cycle of birth and death and birth and death. You do not know, sitting here, how many cycles you've already gone through. You have no clue how many more cycles you're going through, simply going through this life and death, life and death. For what? For what? So in this classroom, we have an opportunity to look into this aspect and find out whether it is worth pursuing this truth, finding the truth, if that makes any sense to all of us, while we live in this world. So, with this in mind, this particular summary that you see on the screen talks about this full chapter. And thanks to the research done by Swamiji, it makes it simple. You will not find this in the original text, so don't look for it. If you have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita, this is part of the research done. What it does is, it gives us the flow of thought in the chapter. It makes it easy for us to understand how the chapter progresses. So the theme is meditation, but the first topic talks about a yogi, an active person who rises to a jnani and enlightened. So this is the scope of human existence. You can start from where you are and move to the highest state of perfection and fulfill the purpose of human life. In the next topic, he talks about external and internal disciplines for meditation, which is the final gateway before enlightenment. In the third topic, a controlled mind remains peaceful. It's only when you control the mind you are peaceful, and it's only when you're peaceful that you qualify for meditation. The fourth topic, meditation, reveals the self, capital S. So whether you use the word self or Atman, Brahman, God principle, like we said, these are all synonyms. That final gateway takes you to the self in you, the God principle in you. And then the chapter pretty much ends there. But Arjuna, as you know, Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between Lord Krsna and Arjuna. Now, Lord Krsna only represents a person who is enlightened, who knows the truth. That's why he's referred to as Jagat Guru, a teacher for the world. Now, not because he is personality Krishna, but he qualifies because he knows the truth. So, a well-qualified teacher and a sincere student in Arjuna, you find the whole Gita is a conversation between the two. So that's when Arjuna comes up with a question. He says, can a restless mind be controlled? Because most people are restless, under pressures. We have all sorts of difficulties. How do you control such a mind? That discussion is in the fifth topic. And finally, he says, a yogi unites with Brahman. When you control the mind, when you are disciplined, that is when you unite with Brahman, another word for truth or reality. So this is how the chapter progresses. And if we are patient, 5 days in a year is not much. We could study this chapter together and understand the message of Dhyana Yoga. Start with verse 1, please.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sasannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na chakriyah. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sasannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na chakriyah.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha, the blessed Lord said, he who does his bounden duty without depending on the fruit of action, he is a sannyasi, ascetic, and a yogi, not the one without fire, not the one without action. Now this is a very famous and oft-quoted verse, because the question arises, who is a sannyasi? Who is a yogi? Is it by attire? Is it that you have to be in an ashram, in the Himalayas perhaps, living in the caves? Is such a person a yogi, such a person a sannyasi? Then many people don't qualify. So therefore, it is meant for a few recluses who have left society, who don't work for their living, who are sitting somewhere, who have to be fed. We respect them, we have all the regard, but they can't be part of us. This is the general impression of a Swami, of a sannyasi. And yet here is a definition given in the Bhagavad Gita itself. Narayana Swayam telling you who? Who is a yogi? Who is a sannyasi? He puts it very simply. See, he doesn't ask. He just says yaha. Throughout the Gita there will be this word yaha. Yaha means whoever he be, he who does this, achieves this. You're not asked for your background. Have you read the Bhagavad Gita? Are you a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian? Are you which caste or which creed or which race do you belong to? No questions. You're a human being. As long as you are a human being, these principles apply to one and all. There are no demarcations whatsoever. The Bhagavad Gita is a scientific exposition of the truth. Yes, this text came from this country, no doubt. It came from these great masters of yore, the digest of a galaxy of sages and saints, put together in this text by a sage. But what was special about the great sage Vyasa is that he was a phenomenal thinker, a scientific-minded philosopher. So he only presented the truths of life and living. These truths were written thousands of years ago. They were applicable then. They are as applicable today, as you will see. You don't have to accept what we're saying. Find out for yourself. And they will continue to be applicable in the future for one reason. It is the truth. Facts of life do not change. Opinions may change. See, if I say the Bhagavad Gita is a very nice text, you may say I disagree. Or if I say it is very simple text, it is an opinion. You may agree, you may disagree. But when we say the Bhagavad Gita gives us facts of life, find out for yourself. You don't have to agree or disagree. Find out. That's all you have to do. So if this makes sense, if it appeals to your reason, to your logic, take it. Apply it in your life. Verify and then accept. That's the way to go. So he says, who is a yogi? Who is a sannyasi? Karyam karma karoti yaha. he who does what he ought to do in life, without depending on fruit. See, most of us do things, and then we are all the time expecting the fruit of our endeavors. Even the relationship between parent and child. Oh, parents take care of their children. So much care, so much love. What for? When we grow old, we have somebody to fall back on. And then what happens in the modern time, especially when the youngsters want to go away to another country, then the tragedy unfolds itself. What? My only son, he has gone to America. That is not so bad. He was a nice boy, as long as he was single. Now that lady has come into his life, he's changed, but what can he do? He also needs a family life, therefore. And every year tickets are sent to the sambandhis. Not to us, but we understand our boy what to do. Tragedy. Once in 2 years he sends us, but we stay longer with him. And that poor boy, he is balancing between wife and the in-laws and parents. If he shows interest in the in-laws, the parents are upset. If he shows interest in the parents, the wife is upset. He really doesn't know where to go. And he saw Bhagavad Gita classes, 5 days. He's sitting here somewhere. It is 5 days peace of mind. So, parents do all that they do for their children, but there is an expectation. Why do we say expectation? Because there are disappointments. Why are you disappointed? You have done your duty. Forget about it. You have done what you ought to do. If you expect fruits, you will be disappointed because you will not get what you want. Then what will you get? What you deserve. Each one gets what he deserves, what she deserves, not what you desire. So he says, then you have reached the state of a sannyasi, a yogi. But you can't get to the state without, he says, without fire. Fire means an ideal. You work for an ideal. What is the opposite of working for an ideal? Is to live a self-centered life, fulfilling your personal desires, your ego and egocentric desires. You could do that your whole life. Or you could work for a higher cause, a higher ideal. And as you pitch up higher and higher ideals, the highest being seeking the truth. That is the highest ideal one can have. So you can't reach the state of sannyasa without an ideal. First of all, relative, and then you go to the absolute, and without kriyaha, without action. You cannot achieve this without action. You cannot give up your duties and obligations and expect to reach this higher state of sannyasa, of being a yogi. So this is an oft-quoted famous verse, and it applies to each one of us. We continue.
Yam sanyasamiti prahuhu yogam tam vidhi pandava naha sanyasta sankalpaha yogi bhavati kaschana. Yam sanyasamiti prahuhu yogam tam vidhi pandava nahya sanyasta sankalpaha yogi bhavati kaschana.
O Pandava, O Arjuna, know yoga to be that which they call as sannyasa. None indeed becomes a yogi without renouncing sankalpa thoughts. So the first point to note is the word yoga has been introduced here. Now most of the world, if not all, understands yoga as asanas and breathing techniques. That's all they understand. Yoga means, in fact, recently, where was I? Last year, South Africa, in Cape Town, where there were hardly 1 or 2 Indians in the audience, mostly the local people, they attending. and we talked about Bhagavad Gita. And every chapter it says yoga of, dhyana yoga, karma yoga. So there's always yoga, yoga of meditation, yoga of action. So every chapter is named with the word yoga. So I found in the audience, people sitting there, about at least 10 of them, with yoga mats. I was wondering maybe they've come from some yoga practice or something. And as I was explaining this, the term yoga, then they must have realized they put the yoga mats behind. Because they're waiting to roll the mats and start yoga asanas. Because we use the word yoga. Most of the world understands yoga as asanas, physical exercises and breathing. Now that is one part of yoga. It's a very small part, hatha yoga, where you're using your physical body. But yoga has a very wide application. In fact, the word yoga is taken from the root yuj. Yuj means to join, to unite. So what is the implication when they say unite, join? The implication is you've separated from something. What have we separated from? That's what we started with. We have separated from the original state, the real personality. We have moved away for whatever reason, and we have got caught up. We are entangled. We are enamored. By what? The physical body, the mind, the intellect. All our pursuits in the world. What are we doing from morning till night? What are we doing from birth to death? We are only catering to our physical and material demands, emotional needs, intellectual demands. That's it. What else are we doing? It all boils down to catering to the body, mind, and intellect. Everything, anything that we do is just to cater to the demands that the body makes, the mind makes, the intellect makes. We are really not concerned about anything beyond. So, when you understand that there is a truth, there is a reality which is my real personality, we've just discussed that. My physical body is just the outer personality. The mind and intellect, no doubt, is my inner personality, unique to me. But there is something which is beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the intellect, which is my real personality. So when you understand this, even theoretically if you understand, but sincerely apply yourself to finding the truth, then you're on the path of yoga. Yoga simply means a path you choose to take you to the truth, the reality. In fact, the word religion in English is taken from Latin terms which mean to unite, to join. So whether you use the English word religion or the Sanskrit word yoga, it only means a path that one chooses in life to find the truth. So when you use your physical body and actions, you could just perform actions and get involved in the world, or while you act in the world, your attention is upon reaching the truth. So you use actions not to get involved, but to reach the truth. Then it is referred to as karma yoga. When you use your mind, mind is nothing but feelings. Now, feelings can be selfish and self-centered, full of attachments and preferences that you have in life. Instead, if you use your feelings, purify your feelings, develop that universal love that we talk about. We talk about it, but we don't really live it. But sincerely you practice and understand what is that universal love. What is turning an ordinary feeling into an extraordinary devotion. When you do that, you are following the path of bhakti, bhakti yoga, the path of devotion. And when you use your intellect, the ability to think, to absorb this knowledge, not to become scholars of the Bhagavad Gita and the various scriptures of the world. You could do that. You could impress people with the volume of information that you can gather and recall. But it will not make a difference to your personality. You could be the most intelligent person, knowing all the scriptures pit-pat. You know what Christ said, you know what Muhammad said, you know what Buddha said, you know what all these great masters said, but you will stay put in this world, not understand the reality at all. So instead of just being scholarly, you use your intellect and all your knowledge only to find the truth. If you have that attitude, you're following the yoga of knowledge, jnana yoga, the path of knowledge. Thus, this word yoga, see, we've taken so much time to understand the word yoga, but it only means a path to the truth. And where do asanas and the breathing techniques come? See, you need a conducive body to apply it to this discipline, these various disciplines. If you have a knee pain and a back pain and a neck pain and all the pains, you can't sit in a chair, you need props, how can you study? How can you progress? It's not possible. So when you keep your body fit, which is important, it is conducive for application. That's all it is. So it also has a role to play in your spiritual pursuit or the pursuit of the truth. So no yoga in the larger sense to be that which they call as sannyasa. So yoga is when you get started on the journey. Sannyasa is when you get established in the journey. So yoga, when you start, you may or may not continue. But when you are established, firmly rooted in the path of the truth, you will not give it up till you find it. So one is the beginning of the journey, other is one who's well established in the journey. None indeed becomes a yogi without renouncing sankalpa. First idea he has given. If you are full of thoughts for the world, desires for the world, you will be drawn into this world helplessly, the attractions of the world. So unless you plan to reduce the volume of your desires, there is no way that you can follow the path to the truth. So he just introduces the word sankalpaha, but he continues as we go along.
आरुरुक्षोर्मुनिर्योगं कर्म कारणमुच्यते योगारूढस्य तस्यैव शमः कारणमुच्यते आरुरुक्षोर्मुनिर्योगं कर्म कारणमुच्यते योगारूढस्य तस्यैव शमः कारणमुच्यते.
For a seeker who wishes to master yoga, action is said to be the means. For the one who is established in yoga, quietude is said to be the means. Now, in view of what we just discussed, this verse should become clear to you. It says there are two distinct stages in the spiritual path before you gain enlightenment. Enlightenment is the last part, where you aim to reach the truth, the reality, merge with the truth, become the truth. That is the last part of the journey. But before you get there, how do you get started? There are two stages. First stage is as karma. Karma is action. Karanam. Karanam is the means. For whom? For a seeker of truth. So when we say seeker, see, all of you sitting here, you've come with many, many thoughts and desires. As you sit here, there are so many interests you have. One of them is Bhagavad Gita. That too this evening. First day opening. Why? Because I've done a good deed for the day. Poro. Then we get back to our lifestyle. Now I'm not saying please come back. I'm only saying the general attitude in people. So you've come here, you're sitting here, but you've got so many interests. For such people with varied, multifarious interests in the world of things and beings that you're living in, He says, if you wish to master yoga, you've got to act. How should you act? He doesn't say, because it's assumed that you know how to act. In a spirit of service and sacrifice. The whole chapter we've already heard, we should have heard, is the 3rd chapter where he talks about karma yoga. We're in the 6th chapter now. So in the 3rd chapter, he explains what is karma. Here he only mentions. So for a seeker, he says, who's starting the journey, karma is the means to gain this mastery over yoga. But for one who has well established, the sannyasi who's well established, he says, shamaha. Shamaha means quietude. You become contemplative, meditative, reflective when you are well established. So quietude, shamaha, becomes the karanam, means for a yoga rudaha, one who is established. So there are 2 distinct states or stages on the path to the truth. He continues.
Yada hinendriyartheshu na karma svanushajyate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga rudhastadochyate yada hinendriyartheshu na karma svanushajyate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga rudhastadochyate.
When a man is not attached either to sense objects or actions and has renounced all sankalpas, thoughts, then he is said to be established in yoga. So these are all scientific presentations. When you fulfill this condition, then you achieve that state. Remember we said it's presented. The Bhagavad Gita is a scientific exposition. It's not just an opinion of somebody. Please do this, it's a nice thing to do. No, you got to fulfill this condition. Then alone will you achieve it. No other way. So what is it he's saying? It's an idiomatic construction. Yada tada. Yada tada. So, who is a yoga rudaha? We just talked of a person who's well established. Who is the one who's well established? Yada, when he fulfills 2 conditions. 2 conditions have to be fulfilled. What are they? Na anushajyate, not attached to what? Indriyartheshu karmasu. Indriyartheshu, objects of the world. You're not attached to the objects of the world. Now, when you hear this, you say, thank you very much. I came the first day because I thought Bhagavad Gita will be very useful, but I am attached to my things. I want my family. I want my house. I want my car. I want my money. I will be attached. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is not meant for me. I will come back post-retirement. Maybe. That too, I don't know. See, we don't understand what it means. The fact is, why are they saying this is, when you are attached, you will be miserable. Number 1. Number 2, chances are whatever you're attached to will leave you. This is the truth. It's not me saying, it's a law. You try, get attached to the children, they are waiting to grow up and leave you. They love you very much, they respect you very much, but it's like you're riding on the backs and you think that is love. After all, we care for our children. Yes, the problem with attachment is this. It is love, no doubt, plus selfishness. I'll try and put it on the screen for you. Love that you are experiencing plus selfishness equals attachment. The same feeling that you have now for whatever, it could be family members, it could be your possessions, whatever you feel for it. You want to protect it, you want to take care of it. You've got that feeling. Take away the self-centeredness and it's pure. So, love plus selfishness equals attachment. Attachment minus selfishness equals love. So when you get attached, you suffer. I don't know this boy, whether, I don't know, he's studying or not studying. Throughout the studying years, tension, tension, tension. Why? Exam, 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 exam. The parents are having exam fever, not the children. And they pass it on to the children also. They also should be restless. Why exam, exam? Exam is what? It's only a verification that you've understood. That's all it is. Why are you so tensed? And you're passing the tension on to the children. They should be relaxed. Now, relaxation doesn't mean let's go for a movie, let's go for a party. You said relax, now the children never pass any exam. You take it to the other extreme. We're only saying it is only part and parcel of life. It's the first challenge the child is facing. And throughout the studying years, it is tension, tension, tension. Unnecessary. Because my child should come out with shining colors. My child should be fantastic. My child should be appreciated. It's not the child, it's the minus that you want appreciation for. That is the selfishness. Let them blossom the way they need to blossom. Keep out of it. That's what he means. When a person is not attached either to sense objects or beings or your actions. I am the parent. I am the leader. That attachment to that position and status. When you are attached, you will have sankalpas. Lots of thoughts and desires will be gurgling and gurgling in you. That doesn't qualify. That's a disqualification. The same action you perform without that attachment, you've got the perfect action. Do what you ought to do. The first verse. Karyam karma karoti yaha. Whoever does what he ought to do beautifully, without that fruit of action, bothering you all the time, without attachment, he says, has renounced all sankalpas, then he is said to be well established in yoga. So, who is a person who's established? A person who's not attached in the sense that we explained to anything that he is in contact with or does, his actions. Such a person is established. Next verse.
Uddharedatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanah uddharedatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanah.
Let man lift himself by himself. Let him not lower himself. His self alone is his friend. His self alone is his enemy. Again, a very oft-quoted verse. Uddhare tatmanatmanam. And none of us understand this truth. However much we hear these truths, when it comes to life, again you say, I need the blessings of a master. Now that is only an attitude. Of course, we always seek the good wishes and blessings of elderly people or wise people. But you must understand that if you want to achieve anything, you have to put in that hard work. Just as you want a fit body, that itself, you don't understand what I'm saying. Who wants a fit body here? Nobody wants. We don't understand the value of physical fitness. When does a person think of the body? When the doctor says, look, if you don't go for walks, you will be admitted in the hospital. Okay, doctor, I will go for a walk. And that too, you go to the beach, everybody is walking. There is more eating, talking, less walking. Even there you don't want to exercise. You're going to be, if you all go, I will come. So in groups people go so that they can have some good time. Otherwise they won't go. So first of all, to know the value of physical fitness. That's why we say youngsters. If youngsters are there, they will all prop up. Yes, physical. Because of youth. But in India particularly what happens, this is a general trend in India. I don't know why it happens. If you are born in India, you grow up in India, you get married in India, to another Indian, after marriage, forget the body. It's a question of time. It can expand whichever way it wants. Freedom you give the body. Until that, there is some awareness, So physical fitness, what is that physical fitness? First of all, I have to teach you what is physical fitness. Physical fitness. See, in the Upanishads, we're talking about the Vedic times, Vedas. The Upanishads were in the Vedas. You know there were 4 Vedas. There are 4 Vedas, right? There is no time fixed for the Vedas. We don't know when it was given out. Much, much later when it was codified, that's when we became aware of the 4 Vedas. And the Upanishads are the philosophical texts of the Vedas. In that, just as we had invocation before we started the study, there's always an peace invocation before they start any study. In the Upanishadic times, in the texts, the invocation, they said, the teacher and taught, they would say, may our limbs wax strong, may we live 100 years. 100 years, not on a wheelchair or on a hospital bed. Full of energy. You should stand on your feet till the last day of your life. That will happen only if you have physical fitness. Otherwise, it is a knee pain, a back pain, some pain. Can't sit, can't talk, and everything can't. A bed, somebody has to make you get up, somebody has to put you down. What a terrible life for you. What a terrible life for everybody else. For a simple reason that you never took care of this body. And you need it, a vehicle that will take you till the last day of your life. So coming back, that was not what we were saying. So physical fitness, when you want, you go to a gymnasium, right? You don't know. Because in Chennai we don't go to gymnasium. Anywhere you have to physically exercise. So usually we need some help because we need some inspiration. We can't do it on our own. So we go to a teacher or some physical fitness person or trainer or whatever. You have to do something like that. When you join a gymnasium, first of all, with great difficulty you become a member. Usually they offer life membership, especially if it is a new one, life membership. Most of the fellows go and join life membership because they'll work out. Monthly, if we put, is very expensive. Life membership, time we can put, it is less expensive. They are very smart, good, marketing techniques they have. Because they know every person who takes life membership will never come to the gym. Only first week, second week, maximum. That too, if you have 2-3 fellows together, you will go. After that, they've earned their money. Finish. They can run the show. Why? Because you can't maintain, that consistency is not there. So even if you go to the gymnasium, a fellow is fit, the trainer, he's got a beautiful body. What are you? Like I said, all over the place, everywhere you are. And when you go there, he puts you to training. You cannot be physically fit unless you do it yourself. You can't admire the trainer and become physically fit. It's not possible. What do you have to do? Sweat it out, sweat it out. You may curse yourself. I do not know why I joined this gym. I was okay walking in the beach with all my friends, eating and talking. Unnecessarily, they forced me. You may curse, but you will have to work hard by yourself. Then you get the feel of physical fitness. It takes time. Mental fitness takes 100-fold more effort. I'm telling you this today because if you find it difficult, you need not come back tomorrow. I'm giving you the choice. But you will have to apply yourself every single day that you come. Not only here, if you wish to take this up, this search for the truth, this path to the truth, if anybody wishes to fulfill their purpose as a human, you've got to do it by yourself. No teacher can help you. No master can help you. No textbook can help you, in the sense you will use these means, no doubt. They're all means. But you will have to exercise the effort yourself. That's what he's saying. Uddharet atmana atmanam. You've got to lift yourself by yourself. And then he says, look, you can be a friend to yourself if you use the path to the truth. Now, even if you say, look, why are you saying truth, truth? I'm not interested in truth. I just want to live my life. None of us are perfect. We all have imperfections. What do you plan to do with your imperfections? That much should appeal to you. In other words, every human can become a better human. Nobody has reached a state where you are the best. So there is a scope for improvement in every one of us. Let us try to do that. So if you are interested in becoming a better human, you will have to do it yourself. You'll have to lift yourself by yourself. So you can be your own friend if you move to be a better human. You will be your own enemy if you choose to become worse. Why? Because humans have a choice. And you must be aware and conscious that you are exercising that choice without knowing it. How are we exercising the choice? By performing actions. From morning till night, from birth to death, every human is helplessly acting. Even now, sitting here, you are acting. You may say, but I'm not doing anything. Of course you are. You are seeing, you are hearing, you are reacting, you are responding. All these are actions. So what sort of perception do you have? How are you hearing these words? Positive, negative. How are you reacting? Positive, negative. How are you responding? Positive, negative. Every action that you perform, right, wrong, good, bad, it's like debit, credit, debit, credit, debit, credit. What is your bank balance today? Depending on all the debits and all the credits, this day backward will be your bank balance today. What are you today? Depending on all the positive and negative actions, feelings, thoughts, this day backward, you are what you are today, good or bad, right or wrong. So he says, you are your own friend, you are your own enemy, provided you know which way to go. Next verse.
बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्त्स्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत् बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्.
For him who has conquered his self, small case, self is in small case, the self, uppercase, capital S, is his friend. But for him who has not conquered his self, small case, the self, capital S, verily becomes hostile like an enemy. Carefully read. For him who has conquered his self, in small case because it's referring to the body, mind, intellect, this personality that you have. Are you disciplined at the physical level? Are you disciplined at the emotional level? Are you disciplined at the intellectual level? So if you have conquered, means you have brought your whole personality under control and have directed the personality to becoming a better and better human. If you have done that, then the self is, is, underline, is a friend. But for him who has not conquered the self, if you are indisciplined, indiscriminate, indulgent, letting your body, mind and intellect go wherever it wants. Why? Because you have the freedom to do whatever you want. If you function in this world, I will do what I want to do. Who is to tell me? I'm my own person. All right, you are your own person, no doubt. Everybody has the freedom to do whatever he wants, whatever she wants. Who can stop you? Ultimately, nobody can stop you. But none of us realize every action performed has a consequence. Once you have performed an action, there is such a thing as consequence. There is a cause, there is an effect. Nobody can change it. This is the law of causation. The law of causation means every cause has an effect. Every effect has a cause. You may or may not know it, but there is a perfect relationship between cause and effect. There's a perfect relationship between what you do and what you get. Action, consequence, action, consequence, action, consequence. This is throughout your life. So while you have the freedom to do whatever you want, you have no freedom when it comes to consequence. Why? Because it is an effect of what you have done. Therefore, he says, if you perform your actions in a way that will help you become a better human, then the self in you is a friend. Like petrol in a car is neutral. It has no preference. It is only that which enables the vehicle to move in all vehicles. The fuel, petrol, enables the vehicle to move. Now, whether the car meets with an accident or goes home safe, petrol is not responsible. It's neutral. It depends on the driver. So if the driver is careful, he says petrol is a friend. If the driver is reckless, same car, same fuel, driver is reckless, what will happen? This petrol appears to be like an enemy. If the petrol wasn't there, there wouldn't have been an accident. But it's not petrol that is responsible for the accident. It only enabled the vehicle to move. It's the driver that was responsible. So it is you who lead yourself to a better life. It is you who lead yourself to misery. The self enables you to do both. Because it's that which enables you to function in life. That is the life-giving principle. But what you make out of your life is your responsibility. Like it's the driver that takes the car safely, it's the driver that goes into an accident. That's all he's saying. So, is a friend, you're meant to be perfect. Like an enemy, you're not meant to be imperfect. But it's the same self that helps you achieve both conditions. Next verse.
जितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहितः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु तथा मानापमानयोः जितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहितः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु तथा मानापमानयोः.
So from the 7th to the 9th verses, these verses describe the state of perfection. Now he's given us various ways to move in the right direction. 7th to 9th verse, he talks about the state of perfection. I'm only introducing it here, and we'll take it up again tomorrow afresh. So he says, the Supreme One, who is self-controlled and peaceful, is balanced in cold and heat, in pleasure and pain, as also in honor and dishonor. So a person who is moving towards a higher state, you could take this in a relative sense, you could take it in an absolute sense. So when you are perfect, nothing will affect you. He says, self-controlled and peaceful, that qualifies a person to be balanced. So you're balanced at all levels. Why 3 descriptions? Because we have 3 personalities. So at the physical level, any differences, he sums it up saying heat and cold. But any differences in the physical level does not affect you. Any differences at the mental level, pleasure or pain, joy or sorrow, it doesn't affect you. It's not that you don't feel it. You do feel, but you're not affected. They're 2 different things. And then honor and dishonor at the intellectual level. So at every level of your personality, there will be these pairs of opposites. Nobody is free from facing pairs of opposites. But it doesn't matter what you face in life, it matters how you face it. Your life will depend on the way you take on these pairs of opposites. So you will see Lord Ganesha. You know what is unique about Lord Ganesha? There are many things, but anybody can remember something about Lord Ganesha? One tusk is broken. Some of us must think, why can't we have two nice tusks? One tusk is broken. Why is it? Incidentally, those who are interested, there is a book on symbolism of Hindu gods and rituals. But it is nothing special about Hinduism. These are symbols of perfection. So you've got to read it to understand. Very inspiring. So one of the qualities of Lord Ganesha, representing perfection in a human being, is not to be affected by the pairs of opposites, symbolized by the breaking of the tusk. See, if the two tusks are there, it means we are tossed by the pairs of opposites. So when you reach a perfect state, one tusk is broken, meaning you cross over these pairs of opposites. You remain unaffected. And that's one of the qualities of a perfect human. As we said, 7 to 9, we'll be discussing the state of perfection. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you very much.